You gon' make a lot of mistakes and they gon' laugh in our face. That's part of life, that's just the way that it goes.
Welcome back to Delightfully Dysfunctional Therapist Reacts. After our break, we are back and we are excited. So thank you so much for your patience. I'm feeling restored. I'm feeling ready. I feel back to full health after a bout of bronchitis. I hope all of you are feeling healthy too. And today I am excited to continue our NF journey with Nate. Without further ado, I won't bore you with more chit chat. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, sometimes I wanna disappear like I just don't exist. I find a time machine to take me back when I was 6. Maybe younger, either way, I guess the point of it would be to tell that little kid that he's gonna take a lot of hits. Yeah, I'll probably grab your hand and tell you life is hard. If you got questions or you need advice, then talk to God, cause he's the only one that listens, even when you think he isn't. Even good people are great at making bad decisions. Yeah, they ain't gonna take us serious. You find out pretty quick that life is more than just appearances. I know some things we could avoid to save embarrassment, but everything that breaks you down can also build your character, cause people love to see you fail. Just be aware of it. Don't let nobody tell you who to be or write your narrative. Look, we're all products of the things that we experience, but there's a big difference between confidence and arrogance. You hearing this? I know that.
Oh man, right away, that first line, yeah, sometimes I want to disappear like I just don't exist. Like there's something about that that's like suicide adjacent, suicidal thoughts adjacent. Oftentimes I ask my clients if that's the tone of what is going on in their thoughts. So I think right off the bat, like it's saying like, life feels so hard. Like I want to feel numb. I want to hit pause. I want to just like disappear, like he's saying, and like wanting to go back to this place of more ease. And then the message that he has for his younger self is such a mix of like wisdom and like I basically like saying like you're going to take a lot of hits. And boy, that would be a difficult message for a 6-year-old to hear, but it's coming from this adult honesty. A line that I really liked was, even good people are great at making bad decisions. And I think so many of us want to feel like there's an easy right and wrong and an easy path around fairness when it comes to life and a trust in all people. Like a tiny human has such trust in the people around them and the adults around them, and hopefully they've earned that trust. And I feel as though this message is really coming from Nate, coming from a person who's felt that isn't true because they've had examples of it not being true. Have examples of people breaking your heart, of letting you down, of not being that safe place for you. I also really love the line, everything that breaks you down can also build your character. And I think that's really important. That's kind of this twist in the message. And that's a twist that I hope we all experience and get to feel too, that there's a time and a place to feel the sorrow of our life circumstances and the things that aren't fair. But there's also a process of moving forward and seeing what are the gifts that have come from that hardship. And I know for people who've been through extensive trauma, that can feel really like a really difficult or maybe a hard thought to sit with. Right now, the only thing that I have to say is that I'm sorry if that's you. I'm sorry if you've dealt with like really incredibly hard trauma. Sometimes that message doesn't hit the right way until you're ready to hear it. But I'm excited to hear what more of the messages that Nate has in this song. Nate.
products of the things that we experience. But there's a big difference between confidence and arrogance. You hearing this? I know that you don't get it now, but you gon' get it later. I know you feel like you're alone and no one loves you maybe, and you gon' cover insecurities with lots of anger. The weird thing is someday all of this will make you famous. You start to write about your life, and while they're all relating, you'll make up a slogan, call it real, but feel like you're the fakest. Wish I could tell you that your future's nothing but amazing. That's just not the case, and I guess I just don't know how to say this. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, I just want you to know you gon' make a lot of mistakes, and they gon' laugh in our face. That's part of life, that's just the way that it goes. That's just the way that it goes. And I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, I just need you to get it. I know you've been questioning life, trust me, I know what it's like. I'm here for you if you need someone to listen. If you need someone to listen. See, mom and dad are not together, they took different routes. What you probably already knew, you're getting older now. Remember back when mom picked us up from grandma's house, and she hid her boyfriend in the trunk and drove a couple miles down the street, and then she pulled over to let him out, cause she didn't want dad to know she had these type of dudes around. Cause last time he found out, he had to take us from her. You look uncomfortable, I'm sorry, let me change the subject. You know how we've always struggled with abandonment? Yeah. And when we feel like someone's leaving, we start panicking. Yeah. Hey, yo, I wish that I could say I've learned to manage it. You think it's bad now, but you don't know the half of it. Passion is something we have never lacked. We see it the most when we're writing raps. They think it's funny now, let them laugh. I know you think it's just an outlet when you're really mad, but you don't know the platform you're about to have. I know some things about the future you ain't ready for. I know some things that you gon' cover up but can't ignore. And what hurts is they gon' surface at the worst moments, and we gon' act like it don't hurt us, but it hurts, don't it? We walk around with the devil talking on both shoulders. Wish I could tell you that he disappears when we get older, but that's just not the case. And I know you feel out of place, and everything is not okay, and life can be a lot to take, but
Oh man, it makes me so sad for 6-year-old Nate, because there's already so much hurt and abandonment and a lack of safety that he's experienced. And again, I know so many of you listening who are fans of NF, are fans because you resonate with those lyrics, because there's a piece of truth that he speaks to and that he puts to words that identifies with your story. And that breaks my heart for you, because gosh, too often with children, we're not precious with the one childhood that they get. And you deserved that. You deserved that. And I'm sorry that it wasn't something that you received, but I want you to know that you deserved that, even if the people in your life failed to provide that to you. And there are so many lyrics here that I want to comment on, but I had to pick some of my favorites that really stood out to me. It was around this emphasis on feeling alone and feeling isolated, really addressing those insecurities and self-esteem issues that he had as a child, because we don't have that solid, secure base with our caregivers. There's a child will naturally start questioning, what is it about me? And sometimes those are conscious observations, and sometimes they're unconscious. And I think there's a lot of vulnerability in him sharing how, you're going to cover that up in anger. So many people, when I see them experiencing deep anger, anger is a necessary emotion. I'm not saying that it isn't, but there's everything underneath the anger is more real. And underneath that anger is why can't you show up for me? Why can't you help me feel heard and important? Why do I have to be alone? I'm inferring from this particular story, so those might not be your exact ones, but if you are experiencing issues with anger, my question to you would be what's underneath that? What is the need that hasn't been addressed? Because that will give you deeper understanding and healing towards yourself. And if you are a fan of NF's work, he has been brave about his vulnerability in the process of his healing. And I hope that you can see that as an encouragement and a hope of your own potential to heal, or the path that you are on to be able to continue making those strides. So I'm cheering you on over here. And if you need more help to understand yourself, please check out our podcast episodes on Delightfully Dysfunctional, where we dive a bit deeper and have very vulnerable and real heartfelt conversations around those topics. Okay, back to Nate.
get older, but that's just not the case. And I know you feel out of place, and everything is not okay, and life can be a lot to take. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, I just want you to know you gon' make a lot of mistakes, and they gon' laugh in our face. That's part of life, that's just the way that it goes. That's just the way that it goes. And I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, I just need you to get it. I know you've been questioning life, trust me, I know what it's like. I'm here for you if you need someone to listen. If you need someone to listen. You know how intoxicated people make us nervous, to the point sometimes we shake and it feels so disturbing. Don't be scared, that's just trauma trying to reach the surface, and tell us everyone we love is gonna try to hurt us, which isn't true, but it's a lie that both of us believe in. Yeah, you might get a glimpse of happiness from your achievements, but what you'll learn as you get older, every time you reach one, is you'll just make another goal that doesn't lead to freedom. See, some things about to happen that you can't imagine. At 24 you'll drop an album and you call it mansion. At 25 you'll put out therapy and gain some traction. Skip the track number 4, now that's a really sad one. Yeah, perception's coming next, we about to reach the masses. It sounds awesome, at the same time it doesn't matter. At 27 we'll make millions, but it's really sad, cause you learn to realize that none of this will make you happy.
Oh man, I have to comment on some of this. Some of those lyrics just really broke my heart, and just showed a lot of his deep insight and reflection that he's had of himself. When he's talking like intoxicated people making him nervous, that's just trauma trying to reach the surface. Like, gosh, where you feel suffering and pain, it is your emotions and your nervous system guiding and pointing you towards deeper healing. And you know, so many of the things that we can be frustrated or experience shame towards ourselves around feeling anxiety or anger, there are parts of ourselves trying to protect us. And what past event made you feel that same sensation in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? Where does that that voice of anxiety or anger or insecurity, does it feel like it's right on your shoulder? Does it feel close? Does it feel far away? Sometimes my clients will even describe like physical attributes of these different parts or give it a name. And I think it's really important to understand and see that it's coming from this helpful place of wanting to help protect you. But how do we heal and move forward from that? That often takes the help of a trusted individual to help guide you. Of course, I'm a proponent for therapy. I'm a therapy nerd and I'm a therapist, but his lyrics just really were touching me, and the emotional triggers of past events, how that still is with us. It's embedded in our body, in our nervous system. And I love the honesty as well in that these achievements are just really mechanisms, coping mechanisms this illusion that it will create a sense of fulfillment, that I'll have arrived, that this achievement or that achievement will once, then feel like it's covering up an inadequacy. It's making me feel enough, when really that only comes from like deeply accepting all of these parts of yourself, truly loving yourself, which is not selfish and is not what most people think. Like self-love is, am I taking actions? Am I addressing these hard things? Am I taking actions to create healthy routines that are good for me and that sustain me, that are restorative, and looking at my past, looking at all of these aspects of myself that contribute to my actions, and some things that are really unconscious that can sometimes be self-sabotaging or destructive to ourselves and in relationships. I don't want to go on and on and on because I know we want to get back to the song, but he was just dropping so many little nuggets of wisdom that it was too tantalizing. It was too right there for me to want to dive into. Okay, I want to hear the end, so I'm going to listen on through.
At 27 we'll make millions, but it's really sad, cause you learn to realize that none of this will make you happy. I wish that I could look at you with empathy. Sometimes I feel like I've become what you were scared to be, which makes it really hard to look at you with sympathy, cause if I'm feeling bad for you, then I have to feel bad for me. And that's just something I feel like we don't deserve. That's why I'm always looking down on you, I know it hurts. I'm sure you have a lot of questions I've been trying to search to find us both some answers. I'll be here for you if things get worse.
wow. And if you did it again. Wow, it's really like this discussion with his inner child. And I used to think that term was kind of cheesy, and I really love it because we all have this part of ourselves, this young, unhealed part that he's speaking to. And it takes a lot of insight, but to be able to address that part. And there was a lot of honesty there at the end. And it's an honesty that it's heartbreaking, saying, where's the line about empathy? I wish I could look at you with empathy. Sometimes I feel like I've become what you were scared to be, which makes it really hard to look at you with sympathy, because if I'm feeling bad for you, then I have to feel bad for me. And I think it's hard for us to have that assessment of ourselves. I think he's having a real awakening moment in this song. There's this sense of self-judgment and shame and like a rising from unmet expectations and trauma. But there's also this opportunity to possibly do something different. And the goal would be to be able to look at our younger self with compassion and to see that the things that happened or the things that we believed about ourselves were not true. To feel proud of what we've overcome and navigated, and to try to move forward and take steps in our life towards our future that our future self, our self at, 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, next year, it doesn't matter. Like, ourself in the future can look back and be proud of that. We are not perfect, but that we have taken steps in a positive direction to find deeper peace and fulfillment and greater joy. And I just want to hug 6-year-old Nate. I want to hug him. One activity that I give some of my clients is to find a picture of themselves when they were a young child. Sometimes that happens to be based around a certain life event that we've identified, but to put it like up in their bathroom, on their bathroom mirror, and to say kind things to that picture of themselves, to realize that the self-talk that they have running in their head is impactful, and it started at a young age, and that we can also heal. We can also heal from that. And when we are around other people who are healing, it helps to influence and impact our own healing. So thank you, Delightful Humans, for being here in this community of people who are seeking healing through music, through insight, through conversation. Please check out the Delightfully Dysfunctional podcast. And if you haven't yet done so, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone you know. If you're interested, it would also mean a lot to buy us a coffee. We have a link in the description, and it just goes towards helping us fuel this passion project, which is really fueled on coffee and smiles. Thank you for your interaction, for your time, for your heart, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.